All right, this is my 1 year review of my Whirlpool dishwasher. All right, I had this for a year, had to operate it for a year. I'm gonna talk to you about the pros and cons of this dishwasher. There's a lot of pros, there's a couple of cons, but mostly pros about this. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and start talking about it. All right, so right here is the dishwasher. As you can see, I have a load in there. It's ready to be washed. I haven't put any soap in there yet, but everything's loaded in there. This is washed over the past year. I've been able to wash this a lot. I usually wash it like once a day, once every other day. It is a great dishwasher, but there are some tricks to this to get your dishes washed. There's several options that you have right here. I'm going to show you really quick. It has different wash modes. You have sensor mode wash option, heavy, normal, 1 hour wash, and soak and clean. Now these are 5 different types of washes that can give you 5 different types of results, depending on your load, depending on what type of detergent you have, and how much time you have to offer. I'm going to start off with the sensor mode. The sensor mode I use occasionally, okay? The sensor mode, it detects how dirty the dishes are, how hot the water is coming out of the faucet, are coming out of the water line, and it adjusts, and it can adjust the time that it washes depending on a multitude of factors. Like I said, the dishwasher load, the temperature of the wash, and how soiled the dishes are. So I use this occasionally. I really use that. It's really great. The next one is the heavy wash. Okay, now I use this if I have some stuck on dishes, food stuck on my dishes, really heavy, or I have a large load and I really need the dishes to be clean. I don't need, to have, a couple of dishes with a couple of specks of food on it or anything like that. I will go with the heavy because it will assure that the dish is clean. Now, with that being said, the heavy takes more time. I'm going to show you, it takes more time. That's the baseline, 3 minutes and 35 seconds, but it goes all the way up to almost about 4 hours to wash. But your dishes come clean. It uses a lot of energy, more energy than in the other modes, but it gets your dishes clean, and it takes a long time, and it gets your dishes clean. That's probably like the best setting, one of the best settings. I mean, it's that you can use to get your dishes clean. You can rest assured your dishes will be clean right there if you have in heavy mode. Sensor mode does a good job, but not as well as heavy mode. Sensor mode sometimes is not accurate. It's supposed to clean really well, but doesn't do a thorough enough job as the heavy mode. The next one is a normal mode. That's the normal wash mode. It takes a little bit less time than the heavy, with all things selected. Uses less power, energy, less water, and it gets your dishes clean. It gets your dishes clean. I'm not gonna lie, it gets you clean, but it's not as good as the heavy. I would select normal over the sensor mode because the normal will actually get the dishes a little bit cleaner than sensor for the most part, but sensor sometimes work accurately and it can give you just as clean dishes as the normal mode. So, I mean, you play around with that, and see which one you like. The next one is the 1 hour wash. Now, 1 hour wash, it takes about 1 hour to wash, right? And that's why it's called 1 hour wash. It's very useful if you need your dishes clean in a hurry. You don't want to spend 4 hours washing your dishes, 3 to 4 hours washing dishes. You want them done in an hour. Now, it will get them clean, but it will not get them noticeably clean like the other modes will. Okay, 1 hour is not enough for this particular dishwasher. It gets them clean just enough for you can eat off of, but not clean enough to where you can show your dishes off. Or if you have china in there or some really nice dishes, it will not get them sparkling clean. All right, so that is the 1 hour wash. The next is the soak and clean. Now, the soak and clean is a 7 hour wash. It actually goes up to 7 hour and 23 minutes if you want to. Now that's 7 hour, that's typically an overnight type of wash. Now with this soak and clean, what it does is it soaks and cleans, just like it says. It sprays water on your dishes, lets them soak. It'll stop for about, 10 minutes to half hour, then spray them again. And it'll do this cycle for about 6 hours before the normal wash kicks on and it gets your dishes clean. Now this gets your dishes really clean, okay? It really gets your dishes clean, uses probably a little bit less energy than the heavy mode, a little bit less energy, a little bit less power, but it gets your dishes clean through the fact that water is dissolving your dishes, the soil on your dishes. Okay, it really gets it done. If you have over all night to get it done, you don't mind the noise that the dishwasher makes, I would suggest going with the soak and clean option if you want. All right. So that being said, these washes work, but if you have a really cheap dishwasher detergent, which goes down in here, it will not get your dishes as clean. I would recommend getting Cascade Platinum as your wash detergent to wash these dishes, to ensure that you get the best wash you can possibly get out of all of these different modes. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the delay feature. And I use this delay feature quite often. Sometimes the dishwasher does make some noise, and I don't want that noise to be disrupting me, like while I'm reading or perhaps sleeping. And sometimes I'll just set it at a time that I'm not in the house, and it will delay the wash until that time. So I really enjoy the delay feature. It goes all the way up to 24 hours, I believe. All right, it skips around after about 8 hours. It goes up to 8, and then it skips to 12, 16, 20, and then 24. All right, and then back off. So that's a great feature that I enjoy, the delay wash. I can leave, come back, and everything's washed. All right, another feature that they have is the Sani rinse. Okay, so this is supposed to sanitize your dishes after they've been washed. Okay, they've been washed, and then the sanitized rinse. It comes with a really high temperature rinse. That's what it does, and it works well. It's supposed to sanitize it. I believe it sanitizes it, but with this Sani rinse feature, my dishes actually come out cleaner because the ultra hot water dissolves the soap or anything else that's left on the dishes, and the dishes always come out sparkling clean with the Sani rinse. So I use that quite often to wash the dishes. Another feature that you can select is the heat dry. It works fairly well, especially if you have a rinse aid, which goes in this compartment right here. Really hard to get it all in, but you can get in. Rinse aid, make sure that's full. There's an indicator right there to make sure it's in there. So if you have the rinse aid, the heat dry works well. But sometimes if I am not going to use the dishes right away, I'll wash the dishes and, just keep them in there. And for some reason, they come out dry, even though I don't have the heated dry selection on when I do it overnight. For some reason, I don't know. The next thing is the high wash temp. Okay. The high temp wash right here, you see this feature right here? That raises the temperature during the wash, which will assist with washing the dishes. Now, from my opinion, from my experience, when I run the hot water on the faucet before I turn the dishwasher on, the dishwasher is kind of primed for the hottest water that the faucet can give, and that generally works well with this dishwasher, so I don't have to do the heated temperature. It will save you some energy on your electricity bill if you run the hot water before you wash your dishes and you do not select this. But it works. Sometimes I'll do all three. If I really need some really clean dishes, I'll do all three. All right, next feature they have is the lock control. You can lock the controls. Say for instance you have some kids or some immature adults in the house that like to play around with the buttons. You can actually lock control feature, and it counts down. I see I'm holding it, and it locks the controls to where you cannot change controls at all. Okay, so you can only press start to wash the dishes. You can't even do that when the lock control is on. No one can operate it. All right, it's a child safety type feature. All right, and to turn it off, I'm just going to go like this, hold it. It's going to count down, and then off. And then there's a start button right here. You can just go ahead and press start. It'll remember the last cycle that you did. Press start again, and it'll count down, and shut it, and it'll start the wash. But we're not going to do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the start button, hold it down. It turns off, All right, just like that. Or it says cancel and drain, hold 3 more seconds. And so that's a nice feature to have. So in the inside, again, I like to use Cascade Platinum in here to wash the dishes. And sometimes there's a little thing where you can put another tablet right here for the pre-wash. I rarely do pre-wash. You don't really need it with all the settings you have on here, especially if you have Cascade Platinum, which is the best type of detergent. All right, I talked about this earlier right here. This is for the rinse aid. You pour it in here, and then you can make a selection on how much rinse aid comes out. You see it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you have 4, it dispenses the most rinse aid. 3, 2, and 1 is the least amount of rinse aid. Now, rinse aid is very useful with drying the dishes. Okay, if you don't have dishes, if you have wet dishes at the end of your wash, it's probably because you don't have the heated dry selected and you don't have rinse aid in there. So fill that up, keep that filled. The indicator's right there. Shut it like that. All right, and so the inside cleans well. I usually keep the pots on the lower part of the dishwasher on the lower rack. Top, I keep the cups and bowls right here. It's kind of messy in here. I need to organize it. Knives, I generally keep right there for my own. Keep them right here. That way it stays safe, in my opinion. All right, right here. So it washes well when I have the cups and bowls at the top and then the pots at the bottom. The pots get clean, especially if I have it on normal or heavy mode and I'm using Cascade Platinum. So it cleans well. There's propellers at the bottom. There's one right underneath this rack, and there's one at the very top that you can't see, and it gets everything fairly clean. So after a year of using this dishwasher does a great job. One thing, however, about this dishwasher, I wish it could get the dishes clean faster than 3.5 to 4 hours to wash the dishes. I wish there was another option, but with this Whirlpool, it's not that option. So it gets the dishes clean. In my opinion, it's pro. It gets it well done. I really like this dishwasher. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot for watching.